What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C4 bringing you another Madden 16 projected roster overall video. Today we're on my Philadelphia Eagles, which this probably video will end up going a little bit longer than usual because I want to talk about them. But as always, 30 likes, we'll get a new video up soonish. 50 likes, we'll get a new video up immediately. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Trying to grow the subscriber base. Want 10,000 subs by Madden 16. I believe we can do it. We'll have some giveaways and shit like that if we reach that goal, so help us out. Without further ado, look at the top 5 players on my Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, the league's leading rusher, now in Eagles green, leaving that scummy Dallas team. DeMarco Murrary, 97 overall. Then you got the best, in my opinion, the best left tackle in the NFL, Jason Peters, 95 overall. Then you got, in my opinion, top 3, 3-4 defensive end, Fletcher Cox. It's an absolute fucking crime they didn't make the Pro Bowl last year, 94. Evan Mathis drops a little bit last year. He was like a 95 in Madden, but had some injuries and wasn't as great, but still premier left guard in the NFL, so a 92. Connor Barwin had almost 15 sacks last year, so we wrote that with a 90 overall rating. And then you get my boy Jason Kelce, phenomenal center. I believe he made the Pro Bowl too, 89 overall. So without further ado, looking at the individual positions, we got a brand new quarterback in Sam Bradford. Ditched Nick Foles over to the Rams. Still can't believe they gave that 2016 second round pick. That's 6. But the last time Sam Bradford actually did play, before he got hurt, which is, obviously that's been the theme throughout his career, he was like 14 touchdowns and like 3 or 4 interceptions with the Rams 2 years ago. And his best season with St. Louis was actually under Pat Shurmur, who is our offensive coordinator. So there is a lot of positives. And there's always been a lot of positives with Sam Bradford. No one ever's laid him a bust when he does play. He's never had the offensive line, the weapons around him in St. Louis to really live up to his billing. But when he has been healthy, he has been pretty solid. He hasn't been shit, but the fact is that he can never stay healthy. Makes him pretty garbage. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can stay healthy, but I think we have the offensive line to do that. But I don't know. It's a fucking lottery with this guy right now. We're really putting all our playoff hopes and the faith in Chip Kelly on Sam Bradford's shoulders. Is it going to pan out? Who knows? Now looking at the running back position, obviously you got to give DeMarco Murrary 97 overall. Last year, 1,800 yards, 13 touchdowns, as well as 57 receptions and 416 yards. Compare that with what we lost in LeSean McCoy. The difference in rushing attempts was about 80, which is not that big. But LeSean McCoy had 1,300 yards, 5 touchdowns. So obviously there's a huge discrepancy there. And then in receiving, I know LeSean McCoy is a dual threat running back. He had less receptions, less receiving yards as well than DeMarco Murrary had in Denver or in Dallas. So I mean, is an upgrade, yes, and I'm going to be finally excited to see a north-south runner in our backfield. They'll be able to hit the holes provided for him. Darren Sproles, we gave Darren Sproles an 81 because easily one of the top depth running backs in the league for a second string. Finished last year with 300 yards, 6 total touchdowns. 700 total yards, adding rushing and receiving, and 6 total touchdowns. And then obviously the addition of Ryan Matthews, 78 overall, is going to be somewhat interested to see where he fits in that backfield. I just have a gut feeling they're going to run the ball a fuck ton. Fullback Trey Burton out of Florida, 67 overall. Probably, I don't know if we don't use a fullback, so he's probably still going to be a tight end, but excellent on special teams. Look at wide receivers now. We had to give Jordan Matthews the top billing this year, 80 overall, coming off a phenomenal rookie campaign. Which he had 67 receptions, 870 yards, as well as 8 touchdowns. Really under the radar just because every other major first-round wide receiver rookie pick was outstanding. But he's definitely going to need to pick up the pace and the slack, which is now left in the void with Jerry Maclin going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Maclin had 85 receptions, 1,300 yards, and 10 touchdowns. That needs to be replaced. Not the same type of receiver as Jerry Maclin, so it's going to be tough to replace it, but I think they could. First-round draft pick, Nelson Agholor. We gave him a 76 overall with 92 speed. Then you got just basically Riley Cooper, 74. Josh Huff, 74. Expect a big, everyone's saying that there's going to be a big production, an increase from Josh Huff. So yeah, interesting to see. Brent Selleck is probably the only guy on the roster whose rating is too high for me, but this rating is all because of his blocking stats. His receiving stats stayed pretty much the same. They're all about like mid to low 70s. He's a very solid receiver, but his blocking last year was amazing. I watched the game against the Giants. He single-handedly man-blocked Jason Pierre-Paul every goddamn play. Jason Pierre-Paul, one of the premier pass rushers in the league, was getting manhandled by our tight end. So I'll tell you right now, like look at that stats, like 70 speed, You got fucking like low look at 70, 81 catching traffic, but only 76 catching, 75 jumping. But his fucking, I gave him like a shit ton of blocking stats, all the 70 for run block, which gave him the 86. I think probably Brent's luck should be like a high 70s, low 80s. But it is what it is. Like I'm telling you right now, don't be like, oh my god, biased Eagle fan. Yeah, fucking, you give a tight end this game good blocking stats, it's gonna reflect on their overall. Then you got Zach Ertz, who's going to be, I expect a huge role from him this year. Gave an 82 overall. Last year, he had 58 receptions, 700 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I expect a huge spike in his touchdowns this year. You need to spread those touchdowns that Macklin had around the team somehow. I think it's going to be Ertz's to reap the rewards. Then you got left tackle Jason Peters, phenomenal offensive tackle. Definitely a surefire Hall of Fame. Probably the only surefire Hall of Famer on the roster right now. Left guard Mathis, 92. Center Jason Kelce, 89. Right guard Alan Barwin, which is a big question mark right now. We give him a 77. The Eagles seem really high on him, but the right guard spot's totally open for competition. Really wish they went after Lael Collins, but it is what it is. Then at right tackle Lane Johnson, 86 overall. Did he make the Pro Bowl last year? I know he had a really good year last year, but like I said, where people are all saying, oh my god, DeMarco Murray's not going to be nearly as good because he doesn't have the Dallas offensive line. Philly's offensive line was number 2. If Dallas was number 1, Philly was number 2 last year. I believe on Pro Football Focus, Philly actually had 1 grade higher running blocking than the Dallas Cowboys had. So there it is. Take that with a grain of salt. It's all about staying healthy. That's the key to any offensive line in the NFL. You have to stay healthy. You have to have the same unit. Philly didn't have that last year, so hope to have it this year. Now on the defensive side of the ball, you got Cedric Thornton, 82 overall. I believe he's incredibly underrated. One of the best run-stopping 3-4 defensive linemen in the league right now. Last year, I believe he had 50 tackles with 1 sack and 2 pass deflections as well. So he's getting after the pass, being effective in his JJ SWAT-like maneuvers. And then you got our situational pass rusher, Vinny Curry, giving him an 80 overall. I guarantee if you're not an Eagle fan, you're like, who the fuck's Vinny Curry? 9 sacks last year. 9 total sacks. He didn't start a single game. I would like to see his sack production per how many snaps he played. It'd probably be pretty freakish, but I love him. He's a big-time Eagle fan, happy to be on the roster. Hope he sees more time this upcoming season. Now on the right side, obviously not nearly as much depth, but you got Fletcher Cox, who's an absolute beast. Even guys like Tony Rowe and stuff said it was, our fiercest rival was saying that it was criminal. They didn't make the Pro Bowl last year. He had, I don't even know what he had. He doesn't show up a lot in the stat. He had 4 sacks. 60 total tackles, but he's absolutely, I would say, better than J.J. Watt and stuff in regards to stopping the run. Easily, the only reason he kept us single-handedly in games because our run defense was incredibly stout, and it was him and Cedric Thornton predominantly doing all the work. So I definitely think this year he's going to reap the rewards. Should be a lock for the Pro Bowl. Hopefully people start to take some notice. Now looking at the defensive tackle, Benny Logan, 79. Obviously, defensive tackle has been an area of concern because we have a nose tackle from our converting from a 4-3 to a 3-4. Benny Logan put on a lot of weight. I think he was like 300 pounds. I put on 15 pounds last offseason. This year, had 60 tackles. Nothing too flashy, so 79 is pretty fair for a guy. Some upside. Just a solid nose tackle. Not a destroyer of the worlds by any means. Then we gave Connor Barwin, left outside linebacker, a 90 overall, had 14.5 sacks last year, as well as 5 pass deflections. He's really actually good at that, pass deflections. But, like I said, almost 15 sacks, 90 overall. I think you could see people, if other people did this video, maybe give him like a 92, 91, 92. I figure let's be conservative and give him a 90. Let's not try to piss people off and say this is just a super biased Eagle video. Look at the middle linebacker. We got Kiko Alonso at 85 overall. Obviously coming off a bad injury. He was like a 90 at the last Madden update because he had an insane rookie season. Like 160 tackles, 5 sacks, 5 interceptions. We knocked that down to an 85 just to be conservative. Obviously, he's got a lot of questions he needs to answer. Then you got Mychal Kendricks. There's a lot of will he, won't he still be on the roster, but I believe only 11 games started last year. Had 80 tackles, 4 sacks. You got to keep that guy around. Mychal Kendricks, Kiko Alonso is my dream linebacker pairing for the future. But then you still got DeMarco Ryans, our Mufasa, I believe as Chip Kelly calls him, 83 overall. Obviously, our season was pretty much when he went down hurt last year. What did he have last year for his stats? He only played 8 games. He had 50 tackles in 8 games, which is still solidly productive. Probably could be a little bit lower. I could probably see him giving just maybe an 80. But I think he's already excited to be back as our leader on our defense. It's going to be great to see that 3 linebacking rotation and making sure they can all stay healthy. Right outside linebacker, Brandon Graham, gave him an 82 overall. We're lucky to re-sign him. I think we signed him like $30 million. He was about to hit the free agency market. Last year, he had 4 forced fumbles, which was really high up there in the league for total number, especially in the NFC, as well as 5.5 sacks, 40 tackles, or 50 tackles. And he only officially started 1 game. So again, was pretty much used in packages, much like Vinny Curry, which is, it's saying something considering that we had 14.5 sacks from guys who never start whatsoever. They're just situational pass rushers, so expecting big things from Brandon Graham. I did not like what I seen when he started. I believe they actually gave him the final game of the year to start. That was his only start this season, and he wasn't really that great. So hopefully, he basically has to pick up the production that legendary Trent Cole has now moved on. He's now on the Indianapolis Colts, so really interested to see if Brandon Graham can live up to that billing. Now look at the corner position. Obviously, we got Burn last year, one of the worst fucking secondaries in the NFL. I think that we were the worst secondary in the NFL. But then we went out and got Byron Maxwell from the Legion of Boom from Seattle. Really excited to have him here. 85 overall, I believe, is generous, but fair. I believe he's like an 87. I had actually edited him down because I don't think he's an 87. I still think he's a little bit of a product of that system. But, you got the size, you got production. I think he's going to be, a staple of our defense for many years to come. Then you got Brandon Boykin, gave him a 78 overall, pretty much our nickel corner. Doesn't get used fucking nearly enough. I only had 1 interception last year. The year before, he had 6 interceptions. I really want to see him try to earn and let them fucking have him, give him a chance on the outside, and stop just, limiting his plays, only give him on like 30% of the snaps on the defense in the nickel. I believe he has all the talent in the world to be a starting corner in this NFL, because he's also a phenomenal tackler. The best Eagle cornerback tackler I've seen since Sheldon Brown. Which says something because we had guys like Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie. They're just fucking terrible. They can like a newborn baby can tackle better than Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie. Now looking at safety, you got Malcolm Jenkins, 83 overall. Was phenomenal on our defense last year. Phenomenal signing. 3 interceptions, 80 tackles, as well as 14 pass deflections. Absolutely underrated. I'm pretty sure he's actually going to make the NFL top 100. Where they do this 100 overall. They rate every player, the top 100 players every offseason. I think they actually showed him in the preview for the next episode. So it looks like he's going to be in between 90 and 80. So he's getting some recognition around the league. So I think an 83 is more than fair enough. Then at strong safety, we're going with the rookie Eric Rowe. A lot of people are uncertain if he's going to be corner or safety. I think he'll probably end up as safety, but they can't flip-flop between these positions. They need to really decide if he's going to be a corner and safety in this system and stick with it. I give him a 76, which is, that's upper echelon for the second-round picks in this year's draft. They're pretty consistent, with the guys like Eric Kendricks and the big names flying off the board, because a lot of guys had Eric Rowe as a first-round pick. I would have personally liked Byron Jones over him, but Dallas got him, so Eric Rowe was a really, really solid plan B. Then we got rookie Pro Bowl kicker Cody Park. He gave him an 83 overall. Was phenomenal kicking last year. Unfortunately, did not come in the clutch in the last couple games. Missed some kicks. Didn't miss any kicks all year until the games that we really needed it. But rookie kicker, he's only going to develop. He's much better than Alex Henry. So happy to have him here. And then punter Donnie Jones slipping a little bit. We still had to give him a 79 overall. And there you have it, guys. Those are your projected Madden 16 overall ratings for the Philadelphia Eagles. As always, 30 likes, video up soonest. 50 likes, video up immediately. Make sure you subscribe to Beast Mode TV. If you're an Eagles fan, make sure you fucking subscribe. I do lots of Eagles videos throughout the season. Until next time, guys, it's your boy C4 saying peace out.